Or it takes a bit.
There we go.
Yay.
Welcome everybody. I'm here. My name is Belinda and I'm here with Vasumi, an amazing teacher of the Mayan Calendar and Sidereal Astrology. And I've had the opportunity to do a workshop, one-day workshop with her, and I've had an Sidereal Astrology reading with her as well. So just so much information to share. Welcome, Vasumi.
Thank you, Belinda. Nice
You're
to
welcome.
be here. Nice to be here. We'll have a bit of nature, birds singing and the rest here in the northern rivers of Australia, where it's probably a bit warmer than over there in the Kapiti Coast.
It certainly is.
We've got 20 degrees right now, I think.
Oh, lovely. Very lovely.
Yeah.
Looks like a beautiful location too.
Yeah, it's very beautiful. Yeah. Yep, it's beautiful. It's my girlfriend's place, and and I live right here with her. Yeah, lovely.
So my purpose for bringing you here today was for you to have the opportunity to share about the workshops and gatherings that you have with people, and also to find out and share where people can get in touch with you, how they connect with you, and putting that up online, because when I met you and had the one-day workshop with you, that was the first time I'd actually heard of your teachings.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not much one for I've been working with the calendar for 27 years, so the online thing is probably the least interesting thing to work with. So yeah, I'm not much of a promoter. So yeah, but probably it's good, if you have any questions around the calendar and what it is, and what's your most burning questions, that can help me to tangent on into realms.
Well, learning the calendar and all of the charts, the first time off of that workshop, it was a lot of information, and knowing that you can't just learn it in one day, you can't learn it in one session. There's just so much information. But what I have learned is slowly how to adapt it to my life, because we've been ruled by the Gregorian calendar for so long, and they took the 13th star sign out. So it's learning how to adapt that to my life. So, and it's been very interesting just seeing the changes that it slowly brings.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah, and then of course learning about my my token, because I'm the blue crystal monkey, and my galactic tone, which is 11. Is that right? 11.
12.
12. Yes, 12.
Crystal is 12.
Yeah, because you're the monkey as well, aren't you?
Yeah. We love to play with magic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so crystal monkey, number 12, which is all about common unity or community. So it's such a great way for you to reach out into the community by doing a podcast. Yes. And sharing the magic of whoever it is that whatever systems of magic or play or guided by the night. So hypnotherapy and all those sort of things that are so crystal monkey, guided by the night. Yes. And bringing those kind of modalities to the people will be good for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And the sun wave spell and sovereignty and whatever brings us to our greatest sense of self. We've been so programmed in the world to value ourselves last, to value ourselves the least. And the codes have shown, and you know, just awakening has shown that actually the first port of call is self, is valuing what comes through this vehicle, because that's the immediate vehicle that we have, and to value what comes through this vehicle is probably the most important thing, and one of the beautiful things that the codes brings home to us, and that we're each unique, and there's varying ways that, you know, information comes through us through our intuition. You're guided by the night, so your dreams, your intuition, which is connected to Earth Mother's dreaming of abundance for all beings, and bringing that to community, abundance of magic and food as well, probably, and abundance of magic and systems, and yeah, guided by the night. And one of the things about the codes is that rather than using it as a locked-in idea, it's more like just getting the tip of the iceberg, where you just get this sense and you tune into it, like perhaps, you know, it resonated with you when you received your signature. How was it for you when you received your signature?
It was quite enlightening. I really resonated with it, and it made sense. And for me, it just makes sense with, you know, having the 13 star signs and having these things to associate with, and understanding more about my character and my personality, and then of course with the calendar, and because it's run by a 260-day cycle, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's such a wonderful miracle, because 260 being 13 times 20, like, so there's 20 cycles of 13 and 13 cycles of 20. I'll just give a visual. So this is what the calendar looks like, and there's here is a 1 dot. I can't quite see because of the glare, but hopefully 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot, 4 dot, 5 dot, 6 5 dash is 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then it starts again 1 to 7 to 13, and each of those boxes is 1 day. So there's 13 tones, and there's 20 archetypes or universal truths. And the miracle of that is that so 13 times 20 is 260 days, and the miracle of that is the 13 tones is reflected in our physical body in 13 major joints. So that's 2 ankles, 2 knees, 2 hips, so it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 major joints, and then the 20 is reflected also in our physical body in 20 digits or fingers and toes. And then the 13 times 20 creates 260 days from conception to birth. So the beauty of the system is that it sits inside our own physicality. And we've been brought up with a measurement of time, the Gregorian calendar, where it doesn't make sense. It's pretty haphazard and all over the place. So what do we got? We've got here the Gregorian calendar, and we follow a 13-month calendar. So that's another cycle of 13, but so it's 13 times 28 days, which 13 times 28 is 364 days. And then we have 1 day called a day at a time, or what the Celts called a year and a day. And that was the beginning of that 13-month year is July 26th. So we just did that a couple of weeks ago. And that's one cycle. So there's a 365-day cycle, and then there's a 260-day cycle. The 365-day cycle is measuring the Earth around the sun. And that's all very 3D physicality, the physical Earth moving through space around the physical sun. And we call that time, but actually that's time compressed into linear space, or linear time. And time is actually of its own volition, is not linear, it's radial. Time, true time, is not of the 3rd dimension. We can't see it or touch it. So that's the compression of 4th dimensional time into the 3rd dimension, is that 365-day cycle. But the 260-day cycle is radial time, and it's fourth dimensional. You cannot see it or touch it. It's frequency. It's the frequencies of light that emit from our center of light, the sun. And truly what it really looks like is this. So it's the tube torus, or the energetic field around every living cell and every living being and every living universe and every sun, and that's actually what's measuring the Zolk in the 260-day count. It's a pure time. It's fourth dimensional time. It's radial time, and so each day on that map, that's a 2D map, so that we can comprehend the pattern. So each day has a different frequency, and there's 260 different frequencies that are ever evolving. So they're never the same from one 260-day cycle to the next, because it's gone through all of those evolutions. So it's a way of tracking evolution, really. And to me, the greatest use of it is to deprogram the power over system of the hegemonic power over system that is destroying everything. So to work with it, I'm born in the world bridger cycle, which means I bridge worlds. So one foot in the old system and another foot in the new system to bridge that world. Not everything of the old system is wrong and bad, but its foundation is the Gregorian calendar, which is a disharmonic measure. We would never use a calendar where we'd never use a ruler where each unit is one unit this and one unit this and one unit this, and that's a measure of space. And then when we go to a measurement of time, we're tracking a cycle where each unit is a different measure. And so the mind's primary job is to look for pattern and to look for harmonic patterns. So when we start to follow harmonic patterns, then we start to create harmony. When we're following disharmonic patterns, we're creating disharmony. So it comes down to as simple as that, like change the calendar, go for harmony, create harmonic mind. And then rather than looking at what's wrong with everything, we start to look at what's right with everything, and we recreate a beautiful world, a creative world, a harmonious world. And so for us that followed and tracked the calendar, it just makes sense, which is more than I can say for the other system.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, one of the biggest things that stuck with me after our workshop was how, to me, that it's like the Gregorian calendar doesn't evolve, because like you explained to us, the months are 29 days and a bit. So how do you put that into it? It's very restricting. And how does that match up with our seasons, because your 13-month calendar is the 28-day 364-day cycle, but the Gregorian is 365, and with the the different days.
The 365 is cool. It's the measurement of the months. 13 times 28 is 364 days, so it just works, and it's what all indigenous cultures that followed a solar calendar used to work with, is 13 months of 28 days, and then always one extra day, which is a good thing. It's the Celts called it a year and a day. It's when you have the months that are 30, 31, 28, 29, that doesn't really make sense. I remember being a kid at school and going, that doesn't seem to make sense. Oh well, they must know. We give away our internal intelligence to an external authority, and we keep doing that throughout our life, and that external authority has done the same thing, and it's happened throughout centuries and thousands of years, and it's time to stop. It's time to get intelligent. It's time to question. It's the quest ion. It's use our intelligence to question and be courageous enough to recreate something that makes sense, not just keep following a system that is killing the planet.
That's right, and people are becoming more and more open to the new learnings and like you say, questioning things, and that's what's fantastic about your teaching and why I think it's important to get this information out there so people can start questioning and looking at the way things should be and adapting it to their lives, especially with having the 13 star signs, which is it's true and correct.
That's right. Well, in sidereal astrology, I mean, when you start working with the metaphysical world, there's not one truth. There's the truth in the moment that's ever evolving, and it's wherever we place our mind is what we make correct. So we've placed our minds collectively into a disharmonic system, and it's destroying the planet. And I don't know, is it an intelligent thing to keep doing, or do we want to try placing our minds into something that it looks a little bit more beautiful, full of beauty? The beauty way, the beauty path is what is creative, what creates beauty. It just makes sense to shift to something that's a bit more harmonic at this time, and I think we're all evolving to be ready for that. Sidereal astrology, there's the 13 sign astrology, which includes Ophiuchus, which is the 13th constellation. It's kind of just off the ecliptic, so the ecliptic, which is the earth around the sun, it's the elliptic is the path that, what is it? Gosh, I'm getting complicated now. The ecliptic is what all the planets move through around the sun, and there's up to now is 12 constellations, but there's also a 13th constellation that is coming back into popularity now, and that's called Ophiuchus. And Ophiuchus is kind of like the healer, and it's a time for healing on the planet. It's a time for healing all the wounds of colonization across the planet, and all of us have been colonized. Probably the white races were colonized the first. So the wounds are very deep, and other races have been less colonized, but the wounds are more raw, whereas the white populations, it's very deep and embedded. So, having compassion and time to release the colonization, the power over system, and instead of win-lose, let's go for win-win. And I know I've followed these codes for 27 years, the Mayan codes, and they reveal very easily the win-win. And if any solution of anything anywhere is a win-lose, it's part of the old system. If it's a win-win, it's part of the new way, or the ancient future way that will help to co-create harmony on the planet and with us and with all of life. A win-win is the way.
Absolutely. Moving forward and keeping us evolving. And when we had our workshop, you were telling us that, relating this back to New Zealand, that some of your students who are now teachers were going to the Waitangi Day.
Yes.
Did you end up going?
I did end up going. It was amazing. It was so beautiful. It was like 80,000 people there gathered because the powers that be had saying they want to get rid of the Treaty of Waitangi. So people turned up in mass, and it was especially wonderful a few days before because there was a lot of talks going on, And for me, it was really exciting because there was a real opening within Māori to the codes and the recognition, because I believe these codes are the foundation of every Indigenous culture on the planet, and they've traveled, and they're called Mayan because the Mayans kept it intact in a readable system, but it's the foundation of pretty much most earth-loving people. So, but anyway, I was very excited because it was received very well, and I could see that opening, and I could see that opening for New Zealand, as we all get tired of the old system, and how we can, you know, those codes can be an assistance to the decolonization. By there's also an organization I'm connected with who you know, carries a little influence within the parliamentarians, and they're also very open to the codes and organizing from that win-win. And there's a meeting later on this month where there will begin to be that door opening. So my hope is that we get to share these codes with those of influence who have the time to hear and experience, and bring into places of power these codes to help to reassemble how we govern people, or how we work with people from a place of humility.
Is that here in New Zealand or Australia, or is it
in New Zealand?
Right. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. In New Zealand, yeah. I'm on Zoom calls with people in New Zealand. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. We're very privileged.
Yeah, hopefully it goes somewhere, and you know, I'm just tracking and seeing and open to the synchronicities, and let's see what occurs. We live in hope.
Yes, absolutely. And what are the workshops that you run with people?
I just teach the calendar like I do here. I create this is a workbook, tracking time codes.
Yes.
Basically just teach the basics, right, which you've got. Awesome. Which is basically, I just teach the foundation. You know, there's two parts to every learning. There's the structured part. So this is full of the structure of the how to do it. It goes way into very advanced practices, but you know, for the first years, it's probably only that many pages, because that's the structural part, the left brain, and then the right brain, intuitive, is the other side. So it's like the yin and the yang, the structure, the masculine, the you know, how do we do it? What's the structure of it? And then there's the intuitive that then tunes into each day and its structural makeup, and then just tunes into consciousness itself and witness how the day is doing oneself. And when we tune in and receive what is occurring in a day, that's the way to, that's how we learn. Like the book is consciousness itself, is our own experience each day. And then we look at the codes in the morning, we look at the codes in the night, and then you start to see the patterns naturally unfolding in your own consciousness. And each one of us will have our own experience, and it's to validate that experience. And you'll see from the codes that it is pretty much like what the codes are speaking. We have 3 words for each of the glyphs, and of the 20 glyphs, and 3 words for each of the 13 tones. And there's a 13-day cycle that happens in, that has a purpose. Right now we're in the blue hand cycle, so it's a cycle of accomplishing, healing, and knowing. So it can be quite a busy cycle. And today is Resonant Skywalker, which is being inspired to explore our instincts, our emotional instincts. So I got up first thing this morning before the sun and went to the beach and, expanded, explored, felt it all, and then to the markets, and now to here. And, it's a day which is full of the serpent, which is being in the now. So yeah, each day has its own frequency, but they evolve one day to the next. So you start to follow the cycle, and you start to comprehend what actually is happening in your own evolution, and then that connected to the collective. It's really interesting to watch. So yeah.
And I've got a copy of your last year's calendar, but when I went to order it on the new one, it was out of stock. But I noticed today that you've got it back in stock, the new calendar.
Yeah, the new calendar's been in stock since June. It's just my website. Probably best to contact me personally. My website has gone through an overhaul, and some things don't work so well, and I'm not so much on the not so much checking it. And so really good to contact me personally. I
checked today, and it was saying that they were available. So I'll be definitely ordering one of those. And the artwork looks amazing, because you did show me a few of the pictures that you've got in there this time round. And I haven't seen all of the calendar, but you've got some of the workings out, that how to work out your galactic tone and your Tolkien. And
it's pretty much, I'll just show, this is last year's, but this year's is the same apart from the days. So it has this, which talks about the 365-day cycle and the 260-day cycle. Here's the Zolkin, here's the 20 glyphs and the 13 tones. Here's how to figure out what's your signature. This is the new days of the week, which we call radial plasmas. Here's a beautiful meditation to create a rainbow bridge around the planet, which is what Jose Aguirre, who brought the codes to us, envisioned. He said, we've been clever enough to make bombs. Now let's be intelligent and create a rainbow bridge around the planet for peace.
I will have to try that meditation. So
yes. And then each day, this is last year's, but then each day, so July 26th, it begins, and there's 28 days, and there's 13 months of 28 days. And it shows also which glyph and which tone is each day, and it shows the moon cycles, and there's 13 beautiful art pieces throughout the calendar. And then in the back, we have how to figure out your kin oracle, which is your guide, your support, your challenge that strengthens, and your hidden gift, which 13-day cycle that you're born in for your life and for this year. Here's a little bit extra on each of the 13 tones, and a little bit extra on each of the 20 glyphs. And and then just a beautiful vision of the new world from a rainbow gathering over here. And so they're available. This is last year's. I forgot to bring this year's right here with me now, but I've got many of them. So yeah, feel free to order online at timewaves.org, or send me a direct message. 13 moon wall calendar. You could even just put that into the search engine on Google. I've also got stuff on my Etsy shop, which is called Time Waves, I think. No, World Tree. Anyway, if you put 13 moon wall calendar in there, it should come up. Mayan dream spell, Vasumi, all those things, Google, and I will come up. I've been, and then it'll give you how to access me.
And you've just had a lovely gathering that you...
we just had the day at a time, which is the 365th day of the year. And so we had a 2-day gathering on July 25 and 26, July 26 being New Year's Day. So we had a beautiful gathering out on someone's land, beautiful nature. Yeah, we usually at those gatherings, we have, I don't know, like 100 people, and we put everyone in their glyphs. So you got 3 or 4 of each person in the glyphs, and then we tell the story of creation through the people. So we get to explore and experiment and see if there's validity in it. And then we do the same with the 13 tones, and we share food and we sing around the fire at night. And yeah, it's a great week, a couple of days. It was a Thursday and Friday this year. So yeah, it was wonderful. But yeah,
Sounds wonderful.
so it's a great way to celebrate the new year.
And do you have any workshops coming up, either in Australia or even New Zealand? Are you coming back to
Not at
New Zealand?
the moment. There's nothing planned. Oh, well, actually, no, there is one in the Sunshine Coast that's part of somebody else's retreat that I will go and teach at. But I think that there's no space left in that. I'll be coming to New Zealand in January, February to do festivals and go to Waitangi Day again. I'll be doing the NZ Spirit festivals and maybe Earthbeat Festival in New Zealand. If anyone over there wants to invite me to do a workshop over that time, I'm totally open to that in either island. And in Australia, I do teachings every Thursday from 2 till 4 p.m. So people come and I teach, and I do private sessions, which is a lot of my work is personal sessions. But I do love doing workshops. So anybody who would like to invite me and organize it for me, I'm so happy to come or be part of someone else's retreat, or
I'm sure we could make that happen. You know, Gina was a lovely host.
in any way that occurs. I'm available.
Yes, fantastic. And it'd be great to get some information about your sidereal astrology that you teach and do readings for people.
Yeah, so sidereal astrology is so I'm an astrologer as well. I worked with Western astrology for 30 years, then decided that I wanted to go for the astrology that shows where the planets are in the constellations, because Western astrology is 21 degrees out because of the precession of the equinoxes. I think it was about 101 AD that Western astrology, where they decided that the 21st of March would always be 0 degrees Aries. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, that shifts 1 degree every 72 years. So by this time, it's like 23 degrees out or so. So I've decided to shift to sidereal astrology. And how I feel that Western astrology, I feel who I am in the system. And sidereal astrology speaks to me of my soul's journey. So we did that journey together, didn't we? And it was quite revealing.
Yes.
But it does, you know, it fully shifts the whole perspective of Western astrology. But I prefer it. I love it. I sidereal astrology speaks very deeply to me. So
I did actually print out my charts that you did for me.
Beautiful.
3, a Belinda 12 monkey. That's the natal chart.
Yeah.
Help if I put my glasses on, wouldn't it? Didn't print it
And
very
then
big.
there was the solar return.
Yes, solar return,
which is your yearly chart.
Oh, that's both solar
and then how they operate together. Yeah.
But I'm
it's wonderful science. It's very very involved and very deep. I love teaching the calendar, Mayan calendar, because it's very simple, whereas astrology's whole other big, a lot of components to the other one.
And is any of this in your book?
Sidereal astrology? No.
Right.
No, it's not. Well, there's the relationship of the planets to the glyphs. There is that, which is there. so each of the planets in the center and the glyphs that are related. Yeah, and actually there is a bit there. Yeah, and then the planets is there, the meaning of the planets in the back there, and the meaning of the signs, the 13 astrological signs. Yeah, so there's a little bit in there. It's a whole other book. Yeah, maybe I should put that together. Maybe I'll hear you in that and put a book together for sidereal astrology.
I was thinking that, well, maybe you need to write a book because it's incredibly fascinating. And for me, I'm still learning how to understand those charts because it's, you know, it's not an overnight learning.
No, it's definitely all of the metaphysical systems. I mean, you've got to have you've got to be dedicated to exploring and experimenting and valuing what you receive is the major key for that. We like to get information from external sources, but actually in the end, when you tune into the planets or the constellations or the Mayan codes, it's what you receive inside your own being that has the greatest value, that is the greatest teaching. So I like to think of the books that I read as consciousness itself, you know, every day, how I'm being affected, and that's what I base all my learning on, and everything that I share is based on my own experience, which lucky enough I had a big awakening in India years and years and years ago, and then was guided by synchronicity to the systems to then explain and share, you know, the connection with source, really. Yeah, and the systems do a very good job of it.
Yes. And
yeah,
other than the sidereal astrology, what else do you offer online? Do you ever have workshops online, or you prefer in person?
No, I'm happy to do online things. It's more the more, you know, if people invite me to do something, I tend to do. I'm born in the world. Bridget cycle is very surrendered, so yeah, I kind of wait to be invited. Is how I operate rather than projecting it out.
Yeah.
Also, I work with human design and gene keys, and in human design, I'm a projector, and a projector is someone who is a teacher, but you know, can have it all in place and then waits to be invited. And success is important for us, so I'm really happy, so happy if people invite me, like you did now, to share the wisdom. You know, there's a lot of wisdom here coming through this one, and so I'm really happy to respond as I did with the workshop that we did in Kapiti Coast, which was an invite from our dear warrior sister, self-existing warrior. I can remember people, I remember very well people's signatures. What's our sister's name?
Gina,
that's right. Gina Prendergast.
Yeah. It was an amazing day. Yeah, really
it was such a beautiful day, so wonderful, and she held it very well, and it was such an amazing group of women to meet, and it was really wonderful. I'm so grateful.
Gina's a beautiful host. She really is an amazing host.
Yes, and she brings in a lot of different things to learn for the community there. Hey, she's a great person to open doorways to new systems and new ways of everything.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So wonderful.
And what are the advantages, or at least the benefits? What do people get out of, just so they can understand? Because I know it for me, what I got out of my Sidereal Astrology reading. What can people
maybe share your experience, what you received?
I just got, for me, more understanding about myself, and I did go and have a look through your book and have a more of a read and learn about the star signs, because there's more
information in there, but most overall was, I honestly say that the charts were a little bit confusing to me because it was quite new, but and like I say, new learning there, which I'm really open to learning more about. But most of all was really a very much personal of myself and where to move forward. Hence, here we are today.
Yes.
You know, having our wee gathering, and you know,
and you starting your podcast.
Yes, yeah, and because I do understand, and it helped me understand more about myself, about how I bring people together, and I learn about something and then I share, and I see an opportunity, and it might not be for me, I pass it on to somebody else. It's like connecting the dots for people, and I seem to be in this in between person of bringing people together and communicating and helping and sharing, and I got a lot out of that from the reading and more understanding.
Yeah, I must say that when I give readings, because I like to teach the systems as well as give personal feedback, and most people come for personal feedback, and I tend to overgive on the learning of the system part, but I like to do that because you may just pick up a little bit that then next time you want to have a look, you may have a bit more understanding of how it works, so that you can pick up for yourself, because I like to empower people. But yeah, I really enjoyed the journey. We definitely went on a journey, and that's what happens in a session, is we go on a journey together, because the one part is that very logical part, is the system and the symbols and what they mean, and the other is the intuitive journey that we dive into, and that's unique for everyone. And yeah, I love journeying with people and into their particular frequency. Yeah, so I'm so grateful that you were open to sharing that journey, and really happy to journey with anyone who feels called. Yeah, but I think that my phone is running out of power. It seems Zoom takes a lot of power, so rather than just letting it stop in a moment, I might begin to say au revoir.
Okay, well, it was wonderful connecting with you today.
And just so people know, I put all the links in this video where people can contact you, and what I've got is timewaves.org for your website, Vasumi on Facebook, also YouTube, and Loves Vasumi on Instagram. Have I missed anything?
No, that's very good. Love Vasumi on Instagram. Vasumi Zjikaa, there's a side profile one on Facebook. There's another one that's me looking very monkeyish, but that's very old and I've hardly used it. But the side profile one is the right one on Facebook. YouTube is Vasumi as well. Yeah. And also there's a link tree. Linktree is Time Waves, which is the same name as my website, and that Linktree site, linktr.ee/Time Waves, that'll give access to all of those platforms. And mostly, just send me. I'm mostly on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger, and just feel free to send me a message, anybody at all, if you're interested to connect. Yeah.
And you did an Etsy store, did you say?
timewaves.org/store. Yeah, that's the shop where you can buy the tracking time codes or the 13 moon wall calendar. And the readings are on there. And but you can access all of that also through the link tree. But yeah.
Fantastic. All right.
So that's pretty much covered.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I really, really loved connecting with you again today. And before your phone goes out, or loses power, we'll say thank you very much. And I really look forward to connecting with you again, hopefully soon.
Yeah, thanks so much, Belinda. Thanks for inviting me, and thanks for taking the big step to begin your podcast. And
You're welcome.
you know, if there's other people that you would like to interview, I'm happy to send some your way, and to carry on the good work.
Thank you very much. All right. Love, light, and blessings.
Love, life, and blessings. Sounds good to me. Much love. In Lakesh, I am another yourself. See you soon. Bye.